any sort of small hand weights. For comparison, mine I think are just 1 pound weights. And so if I'm still continuing to do arm things, and if you happen to have heavier weights,
okay,
just know you can take a break. That is okay.
1 and 3.
But as you're beginning to rest down onto the ground, take a few moments to let the breath start to flow in and out. If you go to my classes a lot, you'll notice I like to start with the breath. And that's because the breath, most of our day, we are not aware of our breath in the least bit. And so it's nice to take this pause to actually have a little bit of awareness. How am I breathing? And it's nice to play with different patterns with our breath, to notice how the body receives it, how certain breaths will energize us and other breaths will make us more sleepy. One breath will heat us up, one breath will cool us down. So the breath is so powerful. And so just starting off with a nice good inhale, our lungs are very full. And a relaxed exhale. As the breath continues to flow for a few more rounds like this, we'll take a moment to connect with our intention. No surprise this week, our intention is gratitude. And so the idea that we're going to play with today is that as we're doing the strengthening exercises, just let your mind be on the breath and on the strength and moving in a very safe way for your body. But whenever we pause and we go into one of the stretches, each and every time we're going to try to think of a gratitude, something that just fills your heart with joy, something that makes your life very worthwhile. And so that'll be the idea that helps lead us into practice. And so as we start off here, we're taking our knees into the chest, a hand on each knee, and we'll consider this kind of one of our first kind of restorative stretches. And so this will be a chance to think of our first gratitude. And so bring to your mind whatever it is that first thought that arrives of something that you're grateful for. And know that these don't have to be super intense things. You can think of something silly like, I'm grateful for socks. I'm grateful for shoes. I'm grateful for fishes. I don't know, whatever it is that just kind of makes you smile. Anything like that is absolutely allowed as well. And so from here, let's allow our hips to go back to stillness. We're going to set our feet down onto the ground, and we'll go ahead and grab onto our weights, one into each hand. And we're going to do bridge poses like this today. When the hips are down on the ground, the arms stretch up overhead. So this is our starting spot. From here, as we start to roll the hips up, we're lifting up one vertebrae at a time, the arms lower to be down by our sides. And then when hips lower back down, the arms rise back up overhead. So each and every time, it's almost like the arms are going in the opposite direction of the hips. See if you can flow with the breath. Inhale when you're lifting up. And exhale, rolling all the way back down. Taking 3 more rounds. Two. And 1. Good. Rest the weights by your side for a moment as we head into a couple of little leg stretches, just as we're continuing to warm up our body. So right leg up to the sky, grab onto the back side of this leg. And as we're pulling it in, think of another gratitude, one that will kind of fill our whole body, our whole mind, our whole being for the next minute or so that we're in these stretches for the legs. And just notice how much lighter it feels to be with gratitude. than to be considering all the things that, are right or wrong about this world. With gratitude, it just simply is good things. It just simply is what exists for us. And sometimes the gratitudes are not exactly what you would expect. Sometimes it's the things that are a little bit harder, and we're grateful for those trials because they taught us and they led us to where we are. So now let's go ahead and allow this right leg to open wide for a moment, getting deeper into the inner thigh. And then leg lifting back up, the leg crosses about halfway to the left side, a nice 45-degree angle to that direction. Good. When the leg comes back up, release this one down. Left goes up for the stretch. If you want to stay with the same gratitude for this side, that's perfectly fine, or you can consider a new one. It's funny how sometimes the first couple of gratitudes seem hard, but after a little while, they just start to flow. You can even look around your room and it's like, oh yeah, I'm glad I have that. My life is a little bit better because I've got that. Allow the leg to start to open out wide to that left side. Good. Leg comes back up. Cross it halfway over to the right side. Beautiful. Now as it comes back up, leave this left leg in place. That's where we'll get the next pose started. Go ahead and grab your weights for the hands. Once you've got them there, let your right leg extend out, trying to hover above the ground. And note that you'll make this pose easier if the right leg is higher. It's less of a scissor switch for the legs if it's higher, more dramatic if it's right above the ground. So then the arms, what we'll be doing, we stretch up overhead, and then we contract, trying to touch both arms to the outside of the leg that's up. And then when the arms rise back overhead, switch the legs. Exhale, twist to that side. Inhale, switch the legs. Exhale, twist to touch the outer thigh. Inhale, switch. Exhale, touch. This one's kind of hard, so if you need to take breaks, go ahead and take breaks. We're going to try to aim for 3. 3. 2, 2, 1, and 1. Good work. Set the weights back down. Once we're there, let's plant the feet about as wide as the mat. Allow the knees to do a few nice windshield wipers. Going to the left, going to the right. That last one was really strong through the abdominal muscles. So just feel how the abdominal muscles get pulled nice and long as we go to each side. Good. The next time the knees are over to the left naturally, no rush to get there. But when they're over to the left the next time, let them stay. You have the option to take left ankle onto right thigh if you wish. Good. Thinking of a gratitude. One thing that passes through my mind is how interesting it is that sometimes we don't realize how grateful we are for something until we are without it. So during a lot of these COVID closures, that very much comes to the forefront of my mind. Sometimes I don't realize, how grateful I am to be with certain people, to be with my classes, to be with my family members, different things like that. You don't realize how grateful you are for it until suddenly you can't be with them. So perhaps one of those things is one of the gratitudes that's passing through your mind right now. As we're continuing to ponder that, let's switch our knees over to the second side. Remember, you have the option, maybe right ankle comes up to that left thigh. Let another slow breath pass through your belly. And then as you release the ankle, let both knees take a few windshield wipers left and right. Pick the speed that feels good just to relieve any tightness that might be going on right now. Okay, so as the feet are planted, the knees will be upright again. This next one, again, grabbing onto the weights for the hands, we're going to bring the knees to touch so the whole inner thigh is touching. And then with the knees glued together, let the right leg extend out to that angle, whatever angle the knees have. Know that you can play with the bottom foot scooting out. That would make it the angle a little bit lower, or the foot scooting in, making the angle higher. You can play with that, find the proper amount when we start to move here. What we're going to try to do is start with the arm stretch overhead. That's an inhale. Exhale, the arms flap through the sides like wings, and then we try to lift our spine up as much as possible. If you can sit all the way up, that's great. If not, just lift as much of your back off the ground as possible before you return back to the start spot. So you go nice and slow, even if you're at my pace, or if you're faster, just go nice and slow. Here's 9. Exhale, 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good. Set the weights down for a moment. Take that right ankle to left thigh. Give it a hug. Think of a gratitude. Take a nice inhale. And exhale, release. The knees are back together. This time left leg is extending out. Grab your weights again. Start up overhead with an inhale. And exhale, sweep up. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2, and 1. Good. Weights down, left ankle up. Give it that same hug. Remembering that gratitude if you haven't thought of one already. And with our release, grabbing onto our weights, let's take a moment just for the shoulders. So the arms are up overhead. This movement feels like it's just about the shoulder blades. It helps to bring some awareness to what's actually going on in the upper body. So what we're going to do is push the weights up. This kind of separates the shoulder blades away from one another. And then reverse that, press the shoulders into the ground and continue to squeeze the shoulder blades together. And so pushing up and then squeezing together. And notice how when you're pushing the shoulder blades up, it's easy to get the weights to touch together. When you're squeezing together, the weights will want to go a bit wider. So that's okay for here, let them go wide. Just building that gentle awareness of the shoulders. Eventually, if we want to get to the point where we're starting to build up to poses like a handstand, this action, starting to practice on the shoulder awareness, is super key because that handstand absolutely requires the shoulder strength and shoulder stability to keep it going. So let's take another 3, 2, 1. Good. From here, bending the elbows out to the side, it's almost like we're about to do a push-up, just we're on our back instead of on our belly. And so from this position, what we're going to do is allow the legs to do bicycles while we do those push-ups. And so one knee comes in. When it starts to extend up is when the elbows touch down. When it starts to lower down to the ground is when the arms go up and the second knee comes in. And so switch when a leg straightens up to the sky, the elbows touch down. When it lowers down, the arms rise. Elbows down and rise. And just continue. Follow a good breath pace as well. These are 2 actions, and so that means that the breath goes perfectly with it. Inhale, exhale. Trying to aim for 5 each side. Always take breaks if you need them. Here's 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good. Resting down, hands on each knee for a moment, rocking left and right. And then continue to hug this right leg in, send the left leg long on the ground, and then send that knee to a twist. So right knee to the left. Think of a gratitude. This particular pose is, I like to think of it like we're wringing something out. And so feel how your gratitude kind of rings out any sort of weirdness that may have been going on throughout the day. I think of it like this: the mind can only serve one master at a time. And so you can either choose the master of gratitude or the master of ingratitude. And it really is a conscious choice. It's where we choose to keep our energy flowing toward. And so here we choose that gratitude. Turning the right hip down, slide the right leg long, left knee in, head to the twist, and just continuing to wring out any sort of ingratitude from our body, replacing it with nothing else but this tremendous gratitude. It's this feeling of overwhelming happiness that our life is so good. There's so many things that are right. Let your breath slow down just a bit. Sometimes it speeds up when we do those strengthening exercises. So 2 more slow breaths. After that second breath, return down. The feet get to plant. This time when we pick up our weights, we're going to allow the weights to be like an X on our chest. So the arms are crossing and we're placing the weight right by each shoulder. This will weigh us down just a little bit more than normal while we're doing some crunches and some different variations with that. So remember that since our hands are not supporting our head like we might normally be set up, remember crunches are not about the head leading us. Instead, pick something to gaze at about a 45-degree angle on the ceiling, and that's what you're going to continuously look at. When you rise up, you're still looking at that spot rather than kind of forcing the head in. Okay, so pick that spot on the ceiling. The arms are at a nice X, and we're going to start doing some nice crunches. Go slow, exhale, and inhale. See how much of your back you can get off the ground. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest down for a moment. Arms stretch up overhead. Bring the right leg up to the sky. And touching just the outside of that right leg, we're going to go for 5 cycles. So both arms touch the outside of right leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then right ankle comes up onto left thigh. Now this motion is just about this left arm. The left arm reaches up, it tries to reach up to that right knee and then reach continuing up to that direction. Lower that arm all the way back down. So left arm to touch and cross further and down. Here's 2 and 1. Good. Set the right foot on the ground, left leg up to sky, both arms to touch outer thigh. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The left ankle up. Now it's the right arm that swings all the way up. The arm stays straight. When you touch the knee, continue to slide so that the elbow's kind of trying to get up to that knee. and return down. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. The feet are both down. We're going to do all that again. So exit the heart. Maybe take your non-dominant arm in front this time, the one that doesn't feel natural. And we're going to go for 10 crunches. So remember, gaze up to your 45-degree angle. Take an inhale. Exhale for 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Arms up overhead, right leg straight. Touch outer thigh for 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Ankle up. And then this is the left arm reaching to that knee and then continuing to cross and return down. Here's 4. And 3. And 2. And 1. Good. One more side. We've got left leg up, both arms up overhead, touching outer thigh for 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Good. Left ankle up. Just the right arm swings up, touch the knee, and continue to slide to the elbow and down. Here's 4. And 3. And 2. And 1. Oh, amazing efforts. This one's just going to be a nice restorative pose. Let the bottoms of feet touch together. The knees spread open, and it may be nice to grab onto the elbows and let the arms stretch up overhead. Just a nice arch to that low back, letting some of those abdominal muscles get pulled long. The knees spreading open, getting into the hips. Again, if you haven't thought of a gratitude, bring one to mind. Okay. Our knees start to come together. We're going to roll like a ball a few cycles. So rising up, balance in the boat pose. And then rolling back. We're trying to catch ourselves in the boat pose so that we start to bring some of that awareness of exactly the core muscles that are required for the balance. So here's 3, 2, and 1. Good. Try to hold in boat pose. You can also drop the feet down to the ground if you need to make this easier. Either way, we're in that boat pose or the modified variation. Bring a weight into each hand. And what we're going to do here is as the knees twist partway to the right side, we're going to do 3 punches to the left. So it's right, left, right. And then twist the knees over to the left. And this time it's left, right, left. So the arms are punching to the angle away from where the knees are going. So knees to the right, punch to the left, right, left, right. Go to the other side, left, right, left. Exhale. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last side. Good, a well-deserved cobbler pose. Let the spine round completely up and over. Okay, as we start to sit up, let's come to just a normal cross-legged position. The arms are going to open out to each side, and we're going to do some nice arm circles. Take breaks if your shoulders start to burn too much. You know a good amount for your body. But we're opening out to each side, trying to keep the shoulders more or less level. And then this doesn't have to be super large, just nice small arm circles. Keep the breath flowing. Let's switch directions. Imagine that the more easy we can make our breath, the longer we can hold on, or just a little bit longer. Obviously, you can take breaks if needed. Your weights might be heavier than mine. Let's try to go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew, good work. Cross the right arm all the way over the body. Pull it in for that nice shoulder. Remembering to think of our gratitude. And then when you start to release, let that right arm do 2 full arm circles. So you start with the fingers in front of you, trace directly up to the sky, and then let the shoulder pull you into a slight rotation as you trace back behind you. And then trace it back up and forward. And just 1 more for that right arm. Good. Left arm crosses into the stretch, hug it in. Sometimes I tilt my head away from the shoulder that's getting the stretch, so you're always welcome to add that in if you've got some neck tightness. Okay, and with our release, the left arm traces up and back as far as you can rotate and return. 1 more that arm. Beautiful. Now take the legs straight out in front of you. The idea is going back and forth between 2 places. This will be with our weights. If your shoulders get tired after just a couple of rounds, do this without the weights. Your shoulders will still have plenty of motion going on, especially after all we've done so far. You might be to the point where you don't even need them right at this moment. But if you're using the weights, what we do is hold them straight out in front of us as we lean partway back to a point where we still have control. And then we rise back up to sit tall. When we're up, the arms stretch up overhead and lower. So you don't have to go all the way up. If your shoulders have any sort of injury and you just want to raise up to a slight angle, that's okay too. Take a nice exhale, going back. Inhale, sitting tall. Exhale, arms rise. Inhale, tall. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Amazing work. Let yourself release the weights. Begin to round forward over both of your straight legs. Thinking of a nice gratitude, creating more and more space for that low back. Beautiful. I'd like to take just a little bit of time to also include some leg strength. We've done plenty of arms. Well, we've done quite a bit of core. Let's also include just a little bit of leg strength. When we swing our legs around, I want us just to go straight to down dog. Take a moment to pedal out the legs. And then we're going to step the right foot in between the hands. The back heel, we try to keep lifted, but if our balance is off at all, just let it rotate down like a warrior one instead. If you have the strength still in your arms to use your weights, you're gonna rise up. And then what we're going to do is just do gentle pulses. The back knee lifts and then the back knee lowers. If the arms are doing okay, just extend them out to each side so that your shoulders have to do just a little bit of work to hold the arms out straight. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rotate the back heel down. This is pyramid pose. We're dropping down to a nice stretch for that front leg. Another huge inhale. Exhale, remembering a gratitude before we move out if you haven't already. And then as we're going to switch sides, we're first going to play with side planks. So know that if your side planks are kind of weak today and you don't want to do all of them, just get to the point where that left foot is forward before the rest of us. This can also be done with the weights in your hands or not. If you're using the weights, create fists. And then we step this right foot back to that normal plank. And from here, lift one arm up and down. Left arm up, second arm up and down. Just 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Up to the down dog for a moment. The legs are stretching. And then when you're ready, left foot steps forward in between hands. Trying to keep the back heel floating if you can. If not, just rest it down. We rise up to that bent front knee. The arms perhaps floating open to each side for that shoulder strength. And then back knee lowers and raises. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back heel down. Make sure hips are still pointing forward as we drop down toward pyramid. Even setting the blocks off to the side if you haven't already. See if the front leg can straighten just a bit more. That's how we go deeper through that area. Again, remembering a gratitude if you didn't immediately go to that space. Okay, so from here, we're going to have one more variation from plank pose. This will be Spider-Man crawls. If your strength is to the point where that's not exactly optimal for you today, that's okay, you can skip it. We would end up after that point into pigeon pose with the right leg forward. So if you're doing the Spider-Man crawls with me, hands plant, we set this left foot back to the plank. And what we do is take the left knee to touch the left tricep and then back. Right knee to touch the right tricep or as close as you can and then back. It doesn't have to be fast necessarily, but just keep the breath flowing. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, up to down dog for a moment. Maybe allow the right leg to float really high up to the sky. And then we'll send that right knee under and through into pigeon pose. Back leg is welcome to scoot back a bit until we're ready to rest all the way down to elbows. From here, rock your weight onto the right hip. As we swing this left leg around in front of us, try to get the left foot to cross past the right thigh. If that lifts the sitting bones, just bring it open to that left side instead, but try to cross it if possible. And then set the posture up nice and tall. We're gonna take a twist, so the right hand, or maybe the right elbow, goes onto that thigh that's in front of us. The other hand is behind our back. Lift the posture up nice and long. And use the exhales to slowly wind the twist. Nothing forceful, just helping the muscles of the back, not necessarily the bones, trying to pop the bones into a new spot. That's not what we're going for. Instead, try to feel the muscles of the back gradually opening and unwinding. Taking another good breath in. And exhale, return your weight forward. Some people will be able to continue to slide that left foot close to the hip to let the knees stack. If that doesn't work, the hips start to rise up when you try to do that. You can instead fall into just a normal cross-leg position. That's okay too. So either left knee on top or left leg in front for cross-leg. Either way, sitting up nice and tall to start. Start to lean forward, fingers are on the ground in front of us. And then continue to walk our way forward, getting nice and deep through the hips. Good moment to think of a gratitude if one hasn't immediately popped into the mind. And then walking the hands back in. Now the left leg extends out straight in front of us. Slide this right foot to be touching that left thigh. From here, we'll take a forward fold over that straight left leg. So inhale, reach arms clear up to the sky, spine is very flat. Exhale, relax forward. Okay. Rising up, we're going to switch sides for the pigeon pose. So you can either go from down dog or just already set this left leg up in front of you like a pigeon and begin to send the right leg all the way long behind you. Picking up the hips, you end up in that beautiful pigeon pose. Perhaps this side has a different immediate gratitude. Each side has very different energy. In Sanskrit, they would talk about the Ida and the Pingala sides of us, the Ida and Pingala nadis. So this is the sun and the moon part of us. It's different energy channels that pass through our body. And just like the sun and moon have very different energetic qualities, so do our right and our left sides. So notice if different types of gratitudes begin to arise through this half of our body. When we head out, we're going to rock our weight onto that left hip. This time it's the right leg that swings all the way around, trying to plant the foot to the outer part of that left thigh, if possible. And then once we got ourselves here, we start to head to the twist. So left hand or left elbow goes onto that thigh that's in front of you. Posture straightens upward, and then we begin to spiral, thinking of opening the muscles. Unwinding from there, see if the knees can stack. If not, just go to the cross leg. And then the fingers grab the floor in front of us, start to walk the hands forward. And how has the gratitude evolved on this side? Starting to rise up, let the right leg extend out long in front of us. Once we're there, reach up to the sky, a nice inhale. Exhale to relax forward. Beautiful. Starting to rise up. We'll take just a few more moments for some arm stretches since we did so much arm work today. So we're going to set up into a nice eagle's pose. The right elbow goes under the left elbow, the arms wind. If that's not happening, just hug instead. If you're in the hug, you're going to round the shoulder blades backwards and kind of jut the elbows forward. This will start to open up the shoulders, or you can play with other things that you can do to get the shoulders into a good stretch. If you've got the full wind going on, have a little bit of liberty. Play with tilting the arms or lifting them or rotating them in ways that get into your tight spots, whatever you're feeling on this half. Maybe you're even playing with the head, lifting the head up, or dropping chin to chest for a little while. Working through anything that might have tried to attach to the lactic acid here. Huge inhale, release, let the arms open. And exhale, second side. For me, it should be left elbow under right. And then start to play around with any of the tight spots that appear before you on this side. And a huge inhale to open out. Good. Resting the arms down. Let's head all the way down onto our backs. If there's any last movements your body would love for you to take, maybe another little twist, maybe a moment with happy baby, take some time to do any of these last beautiful things for our body. There's no rush if you're still exploring through things that your body needs, but at some point you'll find a way to rest the legs into your perfect version of Shavasana today. No rush to get there, but when you're there, perhaps it might be helpful to bring one hand onto your belly and one hand onto your heart. And then think of the biggest possible gratitude that could cross your mind today, in this moment in time. And so whenever you think of whatever that is, however much time it takes to bring that to mind, notice how much lighter the chemistry of your body feels when you've got that on your mind. It's one of those things that, naturally brings a smile to the face, and the whole body just feels lighter when we consider that idea. So let our Shavasana be that emotion of gratitude and all that beautiful chemistry that comes into play when that is our total reality for a few minutes. Just let the breath in and out, and let the mind be with that gratitude. So here, begin to deepen the inhales, the exhales. Introducing little movements to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out like we're waking up first thing in the morning. Eventually rolling over to a nice fetal position, maybe 2 or 3 breaths. And rising up to a comfortable seated place. Our hands will join together in front of our heart. And we consider how powerful gratitude is. What if every doctor prescribed gratitude, sometimes instead of medication or in addition to medication? And how interesting it would be for that to be the way that we change our chemistry and raise our vibration from the inside out. It's a realization that our thoughts do matter. They do have consequences to how we feel. And so over the next couple of days, especially, let's try to create ways that we can think of more gratitudes as we go throughout our day. And just notice how you feel in doing so. So with this idea of gratitude to lead us on, let's wrap up the time we got to share together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. Om. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.
Namaste.